What do Motion Raceworks, Holley Performance, GM Performance, and Holley Performance again have in common? Well, they're going on the Lethal Classic LS7, and today I want to talk about some new parts and what's going on with the motor. Let's do it. What's going on, guys? Matt over here, Lethal Garage, and today I'm bringing you some LS7 content. If you guys didn't know, we are putting an LS7 that has new and used parts into the Lethal Classic. Now, just to highlight, and if you missed the build series for the motor, I'll link it up here in the upper right hand corner, but there's a lot of new parts and pieces going into it, and we set out to build this motor on a budget in a sense, and the parts that I got that were used came out of a proven LS7 working motor, and we just spruced them up a little bit, cleaned them up, put new rings, new bearings, all sorts of stuff, but I'll get into the details of that in a second. But today I want to talk about the stuff that you haven't seen. First and foremost, you see some new shiny. I ended up getting some Hooker Black Heart long tube headers for the LS7. These are specifically designed for my application in the second gen Camaro, so they should clear the cross member and should fit in the vehicle quite nicely. They are ceramic coated directly from Holley Performance. I actually paid for these and picked them up during a Black Friday sale, so I got them pretty discounted, but I will have to say I'm a little disappointed in the ceramic coat finish. If we get in here real close, you could see it bubbled and has pinholes. Like, whoever's doing the work for Holley just is not doing it justice, unfortunately. Standing a little bit further back, it looks perfectly fine, but if you get up close, it's kind of disappointing when you're paying for something that's ceramic coated. But I'm gonna just chalk it up as being, it is what it is. I got them for a really good deal. I'm not too upset about it, and I'm not even gonna try to return them because it's just gonna be a pain. But the motor's sitting here without valve covers, and obviously there's many other parts and pieces missing to complete the motor. We have them all on the shelf, but today I want to talk about the actual valve covers on top of the intake and the carburetor. Yeah, you heard me right. If you guys didn't know, we are going to carburate this LS7 because I'm going to be a stubborn mule. Not because I want to carburate it to prove EFI guys wrong. That's not the case at all. I want to learn carburetors. I want to own a car that has a carburetor. Back in the day, I had a 69 Camaro for a very short time frame that was carbureted. I never really got a chance to own that car very long. I ended up flipping it and selling it, but I want to learn a carburetor. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to learn the ins and outs of it. I think it's something that's dying. There's not a lot of people out there that are really getting into it. There's not a lot of people that have really mastered it. Am I going to master tuning and all that stuff around a carburetor? Probably not. But I do want to know the ins and outs of a carburetor and living life driving, you know, one of these cars back in the day with that kind of setup. Now, we are setting up the Lethal Classic to be able to be retrofitted, I can't talk, for EFI, but for now we're gonna go full carbureted. But today we got new products. So it's Chevy Performance by Holley. I ended up getting some, I think they call it a satin black valve covers. I really like the look of it, and I have one installed on this side just to guys give you an idea. I think they look really nice, and I think they're going to complement the motor. I like the look of the black against the raw elements of the heads and then the orange block that we painted. I think it's looking pretty good. They have quite a few different colors, so if you don't like black and you like raw or orange, or I think they have blue and a couple other colors, but this is what I went with, and I think it's will be a nice clean look, and it will pair nicely, and I'll show you later in this video. Once we get the intake and the carburetor on there, you can kind of get an idea of how it's going to look overall. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the other side installed real quick, and I'm just going to walk you through a few details on it, and we'll get to the next part. So the Holley valve covers come with everything but the gasket. And I always thought that was weird that they don't include a set of like fel-pro gaskets, but they do link on their site the parts and pieces and all that stuff that you need. So it comes with all the hardware and everything. The only thing that you have to pick up is the gaskets. And the gasket installs pretty easily. Just sits right inside. If I had two hands, it would be even easier. There we go. Okay, so the fel-pro gasket's on, pretty straightforward. Gonna go ahead and line this up. Now, I did ask a couple of mechanics, I'm like, what side do they typically line up the oil fill on? Because on my LT1, it's on the driver's side, and all of them said passenger side. So I'm doing it on the passenger side on this one. You guys can correct me if you think otherwise, or I'd love to hear your feedback one way or another. But hardware is pretty straightforward. Kind of have to hold it in position to then get it to tighten down. I mean, this is not a complicated install at all. You do not need a master mechanic for it. But this is just one of those items that I wanted to snag and get because I wanted to seal up the motor. And there's quite a few portions of the motor that we still need to seal up, but you know, I take the cover off. I got the valley cover back on, and now I got the valve covers, so we're moving ever so close. And they do give you, I'm assuming, what should have been polished. It's a little not perfect. Here, I'll try to get in the camera so you guys can see it, but you can kind of see it's not the shiniest. I don't know if that's just markings or whatever, if that will clean up. Maybe if I hit it with, I don't have cleaner nearby, but you can see that's not a polished pure top, unfortunately. So you may have to get your mother's metal polish out to make that look perfect. I might even go down and have this powder coated black to match, or try. I don't know if they will be able to match it. But I'm just gonna put these on hand tight. So as you can see, looks pretty good. It's got the polished Chevrolet on it. I like that the hardware is shiny. I'm not a big fan of the not so polished cap, but I think it looks really nice on the motor. And for those of you wondering, let's see if the part number is actually on the box. These are the tall valve covers. They have a part number? Yeah, so 241402. And again, they make all sorts of different colors and finishes, but yeah. And if you guys haven't noticed, most Holley parts are all made in China now. Boo! But as far as intake manifolds, we are going with the GM Performance LS7 carbureted intake manifold. It's a pretty straightforward product. It's not very expensive, and you know, it keeps everything pretty low. You can go with a higher rise to get more airflow, which in turn gives you more power, etc. But the combination of the power we're going for with this intake and the carburetor, this one's going to work pretty well. Part number is 25534394. And you can pick these up just about anywhere. Summit Racing has them, everything. So really nice setup. And actually we're gonna pair that. You may be thinking, well, what's going underneath? Well, we also got the Motion Raceworks stainless steam vent setup. So if you guys aren't familiar, GM and all their infinite wisdom, I believe in the front, was it the front or the rear? I forget which one it was, but they blocked off one of the sides, and what this kit allows you to do is reconnect all four corners to vent the steam to allow heat buildup in the block to be avoided. I like the look of it. I honestly think it's probably going to make the motor look like I have nitrous or something on it, but this is something that's going to get installed, and it goes right up over or underneath the intake. So in reality, you won't see it very much, but I think some people are going to question what the heck it is. And yeah, that's all it is. But Motion makes a really nice kit, and I really like a lot of the stuff that Motion Raceworks is doing and building. I've actually picked up quite a few new products for the 6th gen as well. I'll have videos on those here pretty soon, but Motion will also be part of our LS7 build as well, so it's pretty cool. So now it comes down to, what are we going to top this thing off with? Well, we have a Holley XP 950 carburetor. That's going to be the icing on the cake here. Now, I want to highlight one thing, and this is not the fuel lines I'm running with. Gentlemen, if you have fuel lines that are these blue and red from the late 80s, 90s, just do this, please. Just please get rid of them. Just get rid of them. Unfortunately, the gentleman who I bought these off of still was a big fan of the blue and what turns out to be pink in the long run. And yeah, I'm gonna end up doing black, all brand new, and it's gonna look beautiful on here. But yes, this is a Holley XP 950, and it's awesome, and it's going to be perfect for what we're going for. Keep in mind this LS7, so with the cam that we have in it, the West Coast cylinder heads decked and ported, and I believe they're a stage 3, and with the Holley XP and this intake, we're looking at about probably 650 horsepower, give or take, and she's going to be a monster. And for an NA application, I'm not mad about that at all. We're saving a lot of weight going with an LS7, and it's an actual LS7. It's not an LSX, and it's not anything like that. So a lot of guys like the LSX for boost builds, and that's fine, but we're just going NA power that sounds nasty, raunchy, and is fun to drive around in. Hence why I'm putting so much dyno mat on the inside of the car, so when my wife's with me, she doesn't want to stab me. But overall, I think this overall package for the Lethal Classic is going to do us really well. I think it's going to look really nice sitting inside the motor or under the hood, and I like where we're at right now. So the car is in deep bodywork phase as we speak. We have a lot of work to do, but paint is not that far off. We got to get the glass, we got to get the car back here to do all the test feeding for interior parts, because we don't want to do all of that after paint. And yeah, there's just a lot. So with the motor basically dialed in, we have the rest of the components, all the wiring, the radiator, the whole front assembly, like all that stuff is here. We just got to get the car back and start doing the test fitting. We also have the brake system and all that stuff. I'll go over that in a later video, but I'm feeling really good where we're at. So if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, post them down below. I'm super excited where we're at and where it's going. I can't wait to fire this thing up. I think it's going to sound amazing. But as always, thanks for checking out the content. Hit that subscribe button if you guys want to see more. And until next time, hope to see you on the road.